welcome to Koth.0, your home for learning how to become a better Magic player, and we're getting started off here with our draft number 3. And right now we're opening up a pack 1, pick 1. And yeah, let's get started. Lots of blue. Sky Eel School, Dark Slick Drake, the Riddlesmith, the Trigon of Thought. Makes me not want to move into blue because I know people are going to be picking up these cards out of this pack and potentially moving into it. And even the Disperse is playable. The cards that are off of blue are the Sylvok Replica, the Horizon Spellbomb. Well, the Spellbomb even keeps us colorless. But I'm leaning towards a Sylvok Replica. I always prioritize removal highest over anything else. And even all of these blue cards, none of them are removal. We got some card advantage, and well, that's what blue does, card advantage. And I really like the Sylvok Replica. He's a really solid piece of removal, and you can build decks around him with Molder Beasts and whatnot. Alright, pick 2. So we see some poison here, and we were just talking about the Molder Beast, and he's here. We have removal with the Turn to Slag, and I don't really want to move into poison. If we take one of these and we're passing the other one, we take the Plague Singer, and then we pass the Icarats, and them seeing Icarats, Icarclaw Mirror, Tel'Gelad Fallen, all of those would be a signal that poison's open. And on top of that, I'm not a huge fan of poison. I like the Turn to Slag, and I like the Molder Beast. I feel like it would be easier, I think, with what we have, because I always try to build a deck. I don't just try to take the best card. And I think Sylvok Replica works best with the Molder Beast, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up this Molder Beast. The other advantage of that is it keeps us green. Another Turn to Slag, eh? So, we have... I wouldn't say Rusty Relic fits us very well because, well, we don't have any artifacts yet. The Copper Mirror obviously fits us well. It ramps us and is on our color as well. I'd say the best cards in the pack are probably the Revoke. Turn to Slag is good. Rusty Relic is really solid if you can build a Metalcraft deck around it. But I think we're kind of leaning more towards the Dinosaurs deck right now with the Alpha Tyrannaxes and whatnot. And one of the best cards you can pick up is ramping dudes like this, especially ones that are on color. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up this Copper Mirror. There's still a lot of good blue, so the people who are right are most likely going to jump into blue unless they're afraid of it for some reason. We're passing 2 Turn to Slags, which is going to make red a lot less attractive. We haven't seen very much white besides that Revoke. Alright, here's an interesting pick. So another Revoke. I wouldn't say that's the best card in the pack. I'd say the Golem is. And the Tumble Magnet's worth considering. I think all those cards are just strictly better than picking up this Wall of Tanglecord, even though the Tanglecord will fit our deck very well if we're moving into the Dinosaur strategy. The green X Dinosaur strategy is just to kind of ramp up into bombs and be defensive until you can drop things like Alpha Tyrannax that are very hard to answer, Molder Beasts that can bash for obscene amounts of damage with things like Sylvok Replicas. So I'm leaning towards this Golem Artisan. It's the best card in the pack, keeps us on color. I'm a big fan of staying on color if at all possible. Not to mention, well, yeah, I just think that's the best pick. I don't think Tumble Magnet is way better in an aggressive deck, and our deck so far is not very aggressive. Alright, so we passed the 2 Turn to Slags. It looks like we're really getting past red, so maybe picking up this red here would be a good idea. Ember Smith is pretty good. Another card that I'm looking at is the Silver Mirror, because blue is also being passed a lot too. And I think that picking up the blue, I think this fits our ramping strategy a little bit better than just. I'd say Ember Smith is a better card, but I think that this fits what we are trying to do better. And if blue is open as much as red is open, then I'm happy to pick up this, especially since blue has some really good guys you can ramp into, like this guy next to him, the Sky Eel School. So I'm going to pick up this Silver Mirror, and we can still stay green, but we may start moving into green-blue. Alright, so here's this is obvious between the two picks, our Tumble Magnet and Trinket Mage. Tumble Magnet is a great card. I really like it in Metalcraft decks, especially aggressive Metalcraft decks. It's really good in aggressive poison. The Trinket Mage I like more for kind of control-y decks. And not to mention, if you can find a good target for the Trinket Mage, it's great. However, we don't know if we're going into blue yet, so maybe the Tumble Magnet is a better pick in case we stay green. But yeah, I mean, we're for sure going to play this Tumble Magnet no matter what. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up and pass up the Trinket Mage. I like to take cards, even if it's a little bit worse, maybe. I still like picking up the card that you know you're going to play, like if it's a pick between, you know, let's say a Barrage Ogre and a Tumble Magnet. Like Barrage Ogre, yeah, it can be great, but you know you're going to play a Tumble Magnet in any deck that you play. And so I'd say more consistently, a pick like that is going to make your deck stronger. The pick here is pretty obvious. Horizon Spellbomb fits our deck pretty well. We want to be getting our mana out. It gives us card advantage. It's an artifact, so maybe we can start moving into a little bit of Metalcraft because we're picking up a lot of artifacts here, even though one of them is kind of sacrificial, but we can still use them as an artifact. Another Mana Mirror fits our strategy. I don't mind the Trigon of Infestation. I think it's a decently defensive card and does well on it does well against poison, even if you main deck it. However, there's some good white cards to splash. We saw two of them, the Revoke Existence, and I love splashing in Arrests. And if we pick up a Gold Mirror and a Horizon Spellbomb, I feel like we can start picking up those cards. And maybe even go into green-white, because we still haven't really strictly picked a second color. And again, picking up these rampers early allows us to take the cards later, like the Alpha Tier Nax and whatnot that we need. So lots of this blue wield. I remember the Darkslick Drake was in this pack. There was a Sky Eel School in this pack, so two people picked up some blue cards. The best card, well, Riddlesmith is good. Wondering how well it fits our deck, though. We have lots of artifacts. I'm actually really happy with the Trigon of Thought, and staying on the Metalcraft here. We may not play either of these colors if we do move into white instead of blue. But I'm going to pick up this Trigon of Thought, and we can definitely start picking up Metalcraft cards. Let's see, do we have any cards we would be wanting to sacrifice 3 artifacts for? Well, I think the only card we would potentially play in our deck is Cold Oath of Forge Master, and we do have... I mean, we have the Golem Artisan, which is a good artifact. If we end up moving into white and get like a Mirror Smith or something, maybe that'll become useful. I think it's the only card with potential in our deck. So we got a Trinket Mage anyways. So blue looks very open. And that's a late Trinket Mage. Blue, I've noticed, is the most underdrafted color in this format. And I think this guy fits pretty well. We can dig up the Horizon Spellbomb now that we picked that up, and that's a really good target. And sure, we'll pick up a Scrap Diver. These guys go really late, so I never bother picking them up early. And we're probably not going to white. Although if we do, we might play that, and I don't really care about a foil island. And White Sun's Passage. Sure, island.